Good morning, Rosie.
Good morning, Carol. How are you?
I'm doing well. How's it going
Mm,
with you?
good. It's good. It's nice to see you.
Same here. Another month has
Another
gone
month.
and come and gone.
Where is the year going? I can't even believe how fast it's flown. It's
Feels like
crazy.
feels like we're on descending hill.
Yeah. We're on the downhill slide and we're going fast.
But it's great to see you and get this message out to our
Yeah, I agree. Thank you.
audience.
Likewise, it's great to see you as well.
So we are here for our monthly reading. So this is for October 2024, and it's messages from the Body of Wisdom Oracles. We are using our 5 decks, and we're excited to share the information and wisdom from them with you. Yeah.
Absolutely.
There might be noise because we're having construction in the area that I live in.
Oh,
So the big trucks are coming in and
big
out.
trucks. Yeah.
Yeah. They're not discrete. So I am a practitioner, integrative practitioner of metaphysics with several nurse certifications, and I've studied a lot of healing modalities. I have submitted my last project for my master's, so that should be, I'm waiting to hear back. So I'm
That's
super
exciting.
excited.
Are you going to follow up with a PhD?
I'm not sure. We'll see.
Haven't
We'll see if
decided yet?
Um, if I'm putting in the idea that the thesis is going to be the book that I have to write, that maybe I'll do that.
Oh, that's a good answer. Good answer.
So, but I'll never imagine that I would be a doctor.
Yeah, that's that's a lofty thing.
I am passionate about creating purposeful tools that stimulate potential growth, and want to offer multi-sensorial experiences to our customers and clients and people that interact with our decks. So, and I'm happy to support clients with private and group healing sessions. I'm going to be doing a lot of in-person, a lot more in-person events this next few months. So I'm looking forward to that. And let's hear about you, Rosemary.
I'm Rosemary Nevara. I'm a psychic medium. Um, I use my aptitudes to tap into all manner of beings and situations in order to communicate that information to clients. I talk to critters. I talk to people that aren't in their skins anymore. I talk to all kinds of beings. So it's a very cool gig. I love the work that I do because it's a way of being of service in a very unusual way. So I really enjoy it. I do direct readings. I do readings with a direct reading is when I just sit with the person and I tap into their field to get information. I also love to work with oracles, all kinds of oracles. My favorite oracles are our oracle tarot, but my favorite is the body of wisdom cards that we co-created. I'm very passionate about using my aptitudes to be of service to other, and the decks are a tool for that. So that's
Yes,
about it.
you're amazing.
Oh,
And
you're amazing.
thank you.
You bet.
So our intention is always to assist you in attaining more of a state of balance, experiencing life, and creating a more blissful and unique lifestyle to do, pertaining to your well-being through the practice of mindfulness and awareness. I think that's those. I'm really a proponent of self-awareness because I know that I feel like a lot of time I had my head in the sand, and by getting the head out of the sand, I I got to change things around a bit. So So it's exciting to be able to see those different experiences.
My dad had a little thing on his desk, a little plaque, because he believed in change and he understood how significant and important it was, but he also knew that it was very, very difficult. And so he had this little image on this plaque on his desk, and it was a picture of a turtle. And it said, "Behold the turtle who never makes progress unless he sticks his neck out."
Oh, I love that.
Yeah, so he can't move unless he sticks his neck out and starts walking. And so I used to think about that all the time whenever I was having to make a shift or something. It's time to stick your neck out. It's not going to be easy. It could be challenging. You might get your neck, you might get your head chopped off, but you got to shift. So yeah, so I think that
If you have discernment, you don't get your head chopped off.
that's right. If you have discernment, you don't get your head chopped off. So yeah, and we talk about shifts and changes in our reading this month. So yeah.
Oops. So the cards that we pulled is the theme is from walking my path from the manifestor. That's the theme card. And I don't know, do you want to start, Rosie, or do you want me to start?
It's up to you. Do you want to go ahead and start?
Sure.
Okay.
So the theme for this month is based on this card, and then we pulled another card from each of the other decks. And walking my path, so it's for the purpose of manifesting my soul's desires. As I walk my path, I discern what to leave behind. Celebrating each new milestone strengthens my momentum. This is an invitation to live in the now where everything is attainable. Living in the now is where I am full of vitality, hope, and insights. Each step leads me to fulfillment. So it's a promising card.
Very, very promising.
And I think it's really important to notice within the now brings that state of awareness and that state of mindfulness, because if we're concentrating too much on the past, then we're missing what we could be doing now. And then if we're thinking outwards into the future, then it's like it's omitting what we can do now. So I think it's like we're missing the boat in some ways. Yes, we have to
Right.
we have to forecast.
Yeah, because your deepest, strongest opportunity, your potential to create is only right here in the now. If you're projecting forward or projecting backward, it's time that either is gone or hasn't come yet. So your capacity to do changes and make shifts and learn and grow and evolve only happens right now. And when you're paying attention to where you are on your path, you're in the now.
So it's really, and we were just talking about discernment, but it does talk about I discern what to leave behind, because
Yes.
if we think about it, if you believe in past lives, which I do, because I can see in my work the impact of what the past lives have had, and the energy, the lingering energy that has been created. We carry that with us. And by ignoring those patterns, or by ignoring the energy that we're in, like for me, most of my life, I was in a victim energy where predators would be I was the prey. And then once I had more awareness and I wanted to know more, I moved out of that and wished for something different, to create something different. Then um, that becomes the catalyst, or the impetus. And I like the word that you always use, impetus, to shift and to change what the what the past circumstances were. So there's a lot of power in looking at. Um, some people don't want to look at the past. I feel like I wanted to look at the past, because I feel like there's um, if we don't look at the past, we can't see the ancestral lineage and everything else, all the patterns that have been creating through families, through generations. So I think it's important to look at, but then focusing on the now is like, okay, what am I feeling? What am I doing? How am I interacting with the world right now? Because we have just the power to center ourselves now. It's not so that we can create that inner peace, right? And then
Right.
create.
I agree with you. I think it's important to be informed by the past so that you can take that information and make shifts in the now. I think oftentimes what happens with people is that they relive the past over and over and over and over again. And that's that old law of attraction thing. You know, if you, the more you focus on something, the more you pull it to you. So if you keep focusing on the bad things or the good things, now good things isn't too bad because then you can bring more good things in. But if you focus on all the bad things that happened to you in the past, and many of us have bad things that happened,
Right,
you're reinforcing it. You're
right.
reinforcing that energy, and you're still carrying that energy. And then you have you know, be careful what you think about, be careful what you focus on, because you don't, if it's something negative, you don't want to pull that to you. Do you know what else? I love the idea of the path, walking the path, and it made me think about detours,
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
because oftentimes on our paths we come to forks in the road, and it's like they're detours, and it's like, which one do we take? And I heard somebody say one time that there are no wrong choices,
Right.
because you're going to learn something from everything that you experience, from everything that you do. So what if you take a detour? There's a lesson associated in that. What if you go back to the beginning and take the other way? And there's a lesson in that. There's lessons in everything. So nothing is wasted.
And I think it's interesting because um, oftentimes, sometimes we have to take two step back in order
Right.
to, or one step back in order to move forward two steps forward.
Mm-hmm.
But I had this image one time in one of my, I get visuals when I'm working or doing sessions and things like that, and I had like a visual of a mountain, and the idea is I was walking towards the mountain, and I said, I don't need to climb it. I can just go around.
Yeah. Yeah.
But it was like in terms of perception, it was like, oh, wait a minute. It doesn't have to be that struggle of upward, uphill, trying to climb something that I don't necessarily need to climb. So let me see what's around it first.
Yeah. And sometimes you can go right through it.
Well, yeah. Well, see, I still went the harder way a little bit because I didn't think I could walk through walls at that time.
Well, and sometimes there's just passages. There's just
Right.
little passages you could go through. But yeah, we're all energy and everything else is energy. So if you find the space between the solid, you walk through the atom, you walk past the energy of the atoms and molecules and atoms, and you end up on the other side.
That's perfect. That's
Yeah.
perfect. I love that. I like the way the image
Oh, I
looks
love
because
the
it
image. Yeah.
almost feels like steps, and it talks about
Yes.
the milestones. So that's
Hmm.
why I like the I think that's why we gave it that title of walking my path because there are, and oftentimes we don't celebrate the milestones.
No.
It's just we take those for granted, and it's not necessarily, it's not that we have to have a party every time we do a milestone, but at the same time is I think we have to give ourselves credit for the courage that it might have taken to get to the next milestone, or for um, the possibility of looking at different option to and course correct or take a new path or redirect.
Mhm.
So I think each milestone carries a lot of has weight that we can't ignore.
Exactly. Yeah. Yeah. Milestones are really important because they mark their passages and their up leveling. It makes me think of the the world card in tarot where it's not a circle where you come back to the same beginning. It's a spiral, and you level up and you level up and you level up. And those milestones are the markers where you start your next leveling up.
And I think also it just made me think as you were talking that it's almost like the milestones kind of like also timelines. And by
Mhm.
looking at timelines, we can identify patterns too
Yes, and
with the
that's
big
super
events.
important.
Like I had a session long ago. It was in France when I was visiting my mother, and she had this individual had I think it was like a biofeedback machine. So I
Oh,
had things hooked up, and he pointed out certain ages. And it was really interesting because when I went back and did the timeline of that, it's like there were all significant traumas within those
and at those
ages.
places, yeah.
Yeah, it was really interesting. So, not only our milestones, but the timeline of those milestones when things were happening, what catapulted you to take a step forward or shift into a new direction. Like, and other times we wait for the crisis.
Yeah.
So if we could start to, with the discernment, if we could kind of identify those before the big chaotic crisis happens, then we much power to us, because it's easier for us to live in that now moment rather than wait for that big thing that to happen to make us shift. It's like the kick in the butt, right?
Yeah.
We can ignore as long as we can, but at one point it's like, she didn't get it yet. Okay, let's show her a little bit
Let's
more
give her a
here.
little punk. That's Uranus does that. It's your very Uranian that you get a little tap and you get a whisper. You may want to think about doing this. You might consider it. And then after a while you get a little tap on the shoulder. Hey, you need to act. And then pretty soon you get a bang up the head. And finally, if you refuse to act, if you're so entrenched and stuck, the rug is grabbed and pulled out from under you, and you fly up in the air, land on your back, and you don't have any other choice but to get a move on.
Or
So
flap
it's
your
better
fist.
if you listen to those whispers than wait until you
Right.
get the rug pulled out, because sometimes Uranus is called the Humpty Dumpty planet, because once it enacts, all the king's horses and all the king's men cannot put Humpty together again. There's no going back. You are forced to make a change. So
Right.
yeah. And we find those along our paths
Who knew?
throughout our lifetimes.
Do you want to carry us to the next card?
Sure, the
So
next
cool.
card comes from, oh, there we go, the I Am deck. This is a beautiful deck. It's Carole's first deck. It's a deck of affirmations. The A side is I am, and then the B side says what you're doing, what the energy is. I pull one of these every single day. This one is I am shifting, which is perfect for being on the path, because as you walk, you will shift. And these are followed with probing, provocative questions. This is as my energy shifts, I'm more whole and connected to all that is. How true is that? I shift how I see the world and my place in it. So shifting is constant, change is constant. It's an oxymoron. The one constant is that everything will change. And that's what this shifting card is about. And if you can see your place in that shift and that shifting going on in your life, makes things a lot easier, because you embrace it and you engage in it. It makes it easier. So one of the questions is, how have you considered the world to be? Is it safe? Is it threatening? Is it loving? Is it hurtful? How do you see your world? And because what we believe, what we perceive becomes our reality. Those are really important questions to ask yourself regarding shifts.
I love the card because it has like this on this one side it has the spiral, on the other side it's kind of like it has this big dark hole And it's
Yeah.
like you just you could easily fall into the darkness and not get yourself out. So the spiral is kind of like
The
the
pathway.
opposite
Yeah.
of that. It's like the way out of it.
Yeah.
I had a visual one time where it was during my divorce, and I felt like I was in the middle of the ocean, and then I couldn't swim out of it. Or I had another visual of being in slime,
Ah,
like and then I couldn't get out. It was worse than quicksand because it was like everything was sticking to me.
ugh,
I couldn't find my way out of it.
yeah.
So it was really interesting. Those
Wow.
visual always kind of pushed me to look a little deeper and say, hey, there's a way out. I just haven't found it
Yeah.
quite yet. So
And there's usually more than one way out. We always have choices. We always have choices. It's just making a decision.
but if we see the world as a victim and as then we may not see, or uh, if we see ourselves limited within this world, then we may not think there are options.
Right.
And
Because
that's the
that's how
thing.
it, so then the shift in thinking is
Right,
required.
right.
Yeah. Yeah. So
So
that's such a great card. I love that card.
the next one is from our Oracle of Crystal and Rocks and Gemstones and Rocks, that conversation with the Mineral Kingdom that Rosie had with the images. And this is Merlinite. I am Merlinite. Merlin, the magic.
The magician.
Yeah.
Yeah. We are our own magicians. We just don't realize that.
And that's exactly what the message is about. So this one, I am Marilynite, is voicing a message of magical gifts are placed in front of you. There are many. All arrive here with magic. All have magic or are magic. What tools do you carry in your magic toolkit? How do you feel about your magic? Are you aware of it? Are you hiding it? Does your magic life fallow, ignored, neglected, and forgotten over many lifetimes? It is time to accept your magic, to open your toolkit, to become your own magician. It is time to stretch your magician muscles, to connect with your brand of magic. Now is the time to rediscover and step into your pure magic. So if we are too concentrating on the past, and if we're concentrating on the future, we're not seeing what's right in front of us. So this is a good reminder that there's so much in front of us that has been placed, but we have to see it. We have to be open-minded enough and open with our three eyes, or
Yeah, all three.
all eyes, to see what is in front of us. And sometimes we also don't consider what we can do as magic. In some ways we assume that someone else can do that, but they're never going to be able to do it in the way you're doing it. So that brings back the uniqueness of our gifts and talents and skills as well.
Yeah. Everything is magic. When you think about the fact that we're pure energy, pure consciousness, and pure light, yet we're sitting here in physical bodies, how magic is that? And when you put your hands out, you can feel the energy, or if you can see the energy, how magic is that? I mean, there's magic all around us, and we are magic. And I think if we remember that, that reinforces the idea that we're our own magicians and we can create what we want. It takes the scariness out of a lot of things, because our society encourages living in fear. Because if a person is fearful, if a person ashamed, or if a person feels guilty, they're so easy to control.
Right.
And so realizing that we create our lives and we are magic, we have the capacity to do that. It's so empowering.
When I think it brings that just that word brings in this playfulness,
Yes.
this lightness, energy wise, and it almost brings a sense of hope and wonderment. I don't know. I'm seeing all these really joyful and playful energy around just the word itself,
Yeah.
and possibilities that comes with it.
Possibilities and potentialities. And
Exactly.
that's really exciting.
Yeah, because it's I don't know, it's inviting, it's welcoming, it's thrilling, it's
It is.
I want to play that.
Well, and you know what? It reminds me of the card in the I am deck where it says, I am my genie.
Uh-huh.
So it's like you're your own magician, you're your own genie. You can manifest what you want, what you need. It's just a shift in your thinking.
And I think we undervalue everything that we have and everything that we haven't discovered yet.
Yes,
So by being in that present moment and being in that state of mindfulness and awareness, then those things start to show out and show up and come about. So
absolutely.
and
Absolutely.
and the fact that it's that gray color for the stone is or crystal, it's against it makes me think of the card exploring the gray, because
Yeah,
there's so much within it that we haven't discovered yet, that so that it's that thrilling moment of discovery and expectations of, oh, what am I going to see next.
exactly. Exactly. Yeah, it's a very hopeful, encouraging card. So I guess we're ready to move on to the consciousness deck. Here's the consciousness deck, and we're doing generational energies. And like Carole was talking about in before, how we're informed by our past and by previous generations, it travels forward with us. So this card says, and all of these cards begin with the phrase, I'm grateful for. Gratitude is so important, makes all the difference in the world. I'm grateful to have the opportunity to free myself of my ancestral lineage from non-beneficial generational energies. This freeing opens paths to new opportunities of becoming. And so whether it's immediate, the family and your parents, your grandparents, your great grandparents, if you know all of them, whether it's right here and now, immediate, or whether you have past experiences, past life knowledge, all of that stuff impacts on us. And we need to know what to keep and what to give away, what to keep and what to release, because if it's not doing us any good, it's not serving a purpose anymore. So it's releasing what no longer serves us. This is such a great reminder, such a great card.
And it's also about, I think, looking at um, what has the qualities that have been passed down also.
Yes.
Some of us, like I feel my family has a lot of artists in it. We
Oh,
we like
yes.
to create, and there's a certain you know like the sculpting and everything else. So it's interesting to see what has been. Uh, someone might have the act of business just because there were many of their ancestors were merchants and traders and this and that, and it becomes an innate skill. So also looking at what has been passed down and tapping into that information can be also useful.
Yeah. 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 Especially the gifts that your brother is very artistic. You're very artistic. Your daughter's very artistic. Your dad was very creative in his thinking.
Yeah, and
Yeah.
he was sculpting out of lard with on the buffets, because we
Oh,
had
right. Right.
catering. So he made pheasants and he made pigs and he made castles and he made all kinds of stuff
It's very
in lard.
artistic.
Yeah, so it was really cool to see that, and he was a very good He could draw very well. I have a few of his things, but we never really. And then my great grandfather was a sculptor from Italy, so we never really appreciated those aspects, and it was like subdued in some ways. Like we had to be more business oriented and produce in a way, but the art form itself was not really recognized. So it's
Right.
interesting.
It's interesting for sure.
And then
So,
we end with um, golden amber from the working with color. Oops, I'm showing the back. So this one is about, we talk about magic again, creativity and manifestation. So each of the color cards starts out with I'm open to the experience of, because I wanted to create that sense of expansion with when you connect to the frequencies of the color, and then we connect when you connect with each of the qualities, because sometimes the qualities are a little bit foreign to us. So now we're looking at, and then it's such a beautiful color.
oh yeah.
So this one, it's the message is I'm open to the experience of feeling the magic within all of my creative projects. I am beautifully aligned to synchronistic manifestation. And when you open that portal of creativity and and magic, you do see those manifestation happen. It feels like little miracles here and there, but it's then can become a norm, and we still have to. I think we have to make an effort to recognize those and be in gratitude of those things happening, even though we think that because otherwise we take everything for granted, and by taking everything for granted, we kind of take away from oh, this was such a wonderful experience, and it's that experience in the now that synchronistic manifestation is reminds me of in the present moment, the present time.
Exactly. Exactly. I love the colors in this because it's got a lot of orange. My camera skews towards blues, but it's got a lot of gorgeous orange and it draws me. And then it also, the orange becomes yellow. So it makes me think of the second chakra, which is carries the color of orange and it's about creativity. And then it goes into yellow, which is the third chakra, which is your personal power. So it makes me think about how your creativity is one of your personal powers. And it's like there's so many different forms of abundance. There are so many different forms of creativity. We are all creative in some way, shape, or form, even if we don't think we are. We are. And creativity is part of the process of bringing things into manifestation.
You know, it makes me think of fire, and fire being
Fire, yeah,
being
right.
like an igniter. Like you know, I'm thinking of when I'm looking at this, I'm looking at the fire of the hot water, hot balloon, hot air
Mm-hmm.
balloon. Like it's gonna propulse it upward, and that's the kind of image the energy that I feel with this one is like you're being propelled upward
Yeah, very
to
fiery. And that makes me
manifestation.
think,
Yeah.
yeah, that makes me think of the suit of wands in Tarot, where are associated with the element of fire and it's action, movement, motion, passion, self-discovery, risk-taking, finding your bliss and feeding your soul. And fire's all about that. And this is a very fiery card.
Yeah. So this is our message for this month. So this was kind of fun.
Yeah, it's always
All,
fun.
all about embracing our magic and bringing it back to the present, everything back to the present moment, so we can we actually live the moment, not take it for granted, right? Then
Right.
we have our Oracle Circle every month on the third Sunday of every month, and then I'm going to be starting doing the every third Wednesday in person in one of the local stores who
Oh,
carries our
nice.
decks. So I'll be
And,
doing that
and
there.
tell everybody where the local store is, so if they're in your area, they can go.
Oh, it's at Observers, and it's in Albany, Oregon. So,
Okay, good. So if you're in Albany or the surrounding area,
yes.
go to the Observer to get information about the sessions and the activities Carole is going to be offering.
And then, excuse me, please join our Facebook group, the Body of Wisdom Oracle Circle. Circle. We provide spreads, and Rosie shares readings with us on Monday through Friday. I also wanted to I forgot to mention that in addition to the decks, we create card spreads that help you delve deeper into your own wisdom. And this one is a little unique. This one is connecting with the stomach meridian. So that's kind of all the emotional power there. And this one is about the spine, like what the points within the spine, what information does it hold? And so it's really creating that body mind connection, spirit connection. So I just wanted to kind of mention them because I think that there's a lot of wisdom and power and insights to gain from using those kind of things. So a lot of times the wine cards, I share a wine card spread on a weekly basis in our group, and it's always amazing how like I was talking, I think the last week the question, one of the question was about change. As change is imminent, how can I embrace change more gracefully? And Unikite showed up in the reading, and I pulled a card from the crystal deck, and it was Unikite, and it was really interesting because it was about it's all about self-love. So through self-love, you can manage, and the emotional body, you can manage the changes and the shifts that are happening. So
Right, and we learn through our emotional bodies. That's here on this planet. That's how we learn, how our lessons come in. They come in through our emotional bodies, and we learn through our emotional bodies. So yeah, that's a big deal.
And we are since June, we started out our Love Your Next Expression community on links on Patreon. And we have 5 tiers you can pick. Some of the activities are available. Like the Oracle Circle would be free if you wanted to join from one of the tiers from links. So we have a lot of content, a lot of information. Our I can't talk, guidebook and playbook each month is filled with weekly activities. So we're very proud of the content that we're sharing here.
And you get, if you want to go check it out, you have a week of free exploration where you can really look into it, delve, and see what resonates with you.
And then we have also access to some free resources as well.
Exactly.
With that. So please take advantage of that.
Yes.
And if you want to reach us directly, this is our information. And if you want to purchase our decks, if you go through the link tree Soulful Joyful Living, you'll find a tab for the decks that will also take you to the spreads. And we have the tarot cloth and altar cloth that you can also purchase. So we have lots of goodies and our services, of course. So check that out. And we want to thank you for being here with us. Thank you, Rosie, for another amazing reading from our decks.
Yes, thank you, Carole. It's always fun. It's always insightful.
Thank you. See you next month.
We'll see you next month.
Bye, everybody. Thank you.
Bye-bye.